without a good business strategy, you are not going to succeed. This is absolutely true. But you are not going to succeed either without a good culture.
Welcome to Real Leadership, the show that cuts through the clutter to spotlight leaders who make, move, and process things in the real economy. This isn't about buzzwords or theories. It's about bold decisions, solving challenges, and the strategies driving industries that matter. I'm Jim Weaver, CEO of the Owner Group. In every episode, we get real about what it takes to turn vision into action and obstacles into opportunities. Let's go.
We're back. Today, we're joined by Carles Farre, a global business leader and longtime HP Incorporated executive who currently serves as division president of HP Solutions Hybrid Systems. Carles began his HP career in 1999 as an operations engineer in Barcelona. From there, he advanced through leadership roles spanning research and development, worldwide operations, and commercial go-to-market strategy, building deep expertise across both the technical and business sides of the organization. In 2020, he was named Vice President and General Manager of HP's page-wide industrial business, leading high-production inkjet systems servicing industrial print markets. During his tenure, the business strengthened operational performance, improved profitability, and advanced a multi-year strategic growth plan. He later served as global head of print solutions, as well as global head of solutions execution for workforce solutions, leading HP's contractual printing business and expanding digital services for enterprise customers. In 2025, Carles became the division president of HP Solutions Hybrid Systems. In this role, he leads a global portfolio focused on delivering integrated hardware, services, and digital solutions that help organizations enable the future of work. Having lived in 5 countries, Carles brings a global perspective and inclusive leadership style focused on building strong teams and aligning organizations around a clear vision. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Jim. Pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig in. You have such an interesting background, and HP is such an interesting company. Let's start with HP. So, storied brand. Everybody's familiar with the name. I've got a workstation in my office here across the way. But I don't know that people necessarily, as I got into this, I really don't know who HP is today. So let's start there. Who or what is HP today?
When you look at HP, there are some things that have stayed constant over the years and some things that are just evolving as technology does. I'll stay by the things that stay constant and to us are very important. Number one, our culture, what we call the HP way. It's a way that we identify with ourselves. It's a way we convey ourselves in the market and among our peers and stakeholders. 2, the strong belief that with technology we can make a positive impact in our stakeholders, society, customers, partners, and this is what moved us to year after year, technology advancement after technology advancement, to be on the forefront, and that's what stays constant. Now, what is changing is what customers want. If you look maybe 10, 20 years, 30 years ago, it was about making technology accessible, democratizing technology access. As it became more ubiquitous and as people get more access to technology, I think now the emphasis is more into solutions and experience and outcomes. So our customers, yes, they like technology to some extent, but what they really love is to be able to be more productive, to have better outcomes, to be more fulfilled at work.
And you became the division president of HP Solutions Hybrid Systems not too long ago. So what is the mission of that division? How would you articulate that?
We are in the world of communication and personal productivity. So an easy way to imagine what we do is we follow a knowledge worker, a professional throughout the day. Since he wakes up and connects with a headset until being in the car, being at the office, being in a meeting room, all those experiences require audio, video, and productivity. And that's what we try to provide to our customers.
integrated workplace experiences. That's kind of the phrase that I see. To expand even more on that.
Well, think about all the technology that takes place in the workplace. It can be your desk. It could be a meeting room. You are going to have a collection of PCs, desk, cameras, screens, video bars, speakers. All these by themselves are assets, technology assets that provide the functionality, which we serve to our customers. But then on top of it, we build the right manageability, the right experience, so that all together provide, again, the right experience for productivity and also for human connection. At the core of what we are trying to do is making sure that people are as productive as possible, and they can enjoy and work, and they can find purpose on what they do.
I saw in my research, you had stated that connection, and you just mentioned connection, will be a formal business metric. I thought that was really interesting. So how can one actually measure human connection, like quantitatively? Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. And actually it's starting to happen. I think you'll see more in the years to come. When we talk to our customers, mostly they tend to be CIOs or IT decision makers, the people that buy technology. Mm-hmm. If you look at them and what they were asked to do up until the last 5 years, it was mostly cost, efficiency, mm-hmm. and just keep a good enough ecosystem for your knowledge workforce. That was, in essence, what they were asked to do. More and more, companies have realized that a way to differentiate and to attract the best talent is through a great employee experience. So for the last 5 years or so, there is a new domain that is called digital employee experience that tries to improve and measure how an employee how a person like us is performing at work, which is the friction or digital friction that the person experiences, and how we can remove this friction and convert into a great experience. I'll provide some few easy examples. One is how much time does it take to connect? I'm in a meeting room today. How much time does it take to connect to a call? And which are the obstacles we have sometimes to get into the call and connect quickly? Another one can be, I am in an office, open space, right? More and more we have open spaces, and I want to just get to a desk and work, right? And maybe it's not my desk, my permanent desk, but it's a desk I have to use. How much time does it take to just get everything to work? How we can provide an experience where the devices talk to each other, and just by virtue of me getting close to the desk, the things are going to wake up and work for me. So it's a concept where the technology, instead of being present, it's dissolving and fading away as you get into your workplace, and it's serving you so that you are focused on the task at hand that you have.
So you are looking to eliminate that sort of seemingly obligatory 5 minutes of figuring out how do we connect with this remote meeting that we all go through every time we're in a conference room. That's beautiful, man. That's the Lord's work right there.
That's one of my missions. Yes.
Yeah. How are you going to market with this? Because I know with us, we've got a network of over 100 branches, and our infrastructure sort of just evolved over time, so we're kind of like the frog in boiling water, how we arrived in some ways, to where we're at today. So how are you going to market with this? I imagine you're targeting large enterprise business, and is there a typical entry point, or are you going for the full shooting match right out of the gate?
We try to serve every customer. Our sweet spot is in companies that have some sort of distribution or distributed environments like the one you are mentioning, and where we have some sort of managed environment. By manageability, I mean there is an IT responsible that is managing the infrastructure for the employees. And the way we market is we are moving from selling nice devices. And I can tell you, we love our devices because for the last 80 years, we have done very nice devices. But we are moving from telling, specs, speeds and feeds about our devices, and selling, first understanding the customer needs in terms of which are the outcomes the customer want to achieve, and then which is the solution that is going to be a combination of hardware, services, software that we have to provide to meet those outcomes. And then also providing which are the tools that you need as an IT leader to manage this infrastructure better for your employees. Because typically what you are describing is very common to many companies, which they have a patchwork of devices and configurations that have grown over the years, sometimes even through acquisitions. So we help rationalize all this environment and provide, again, a solution approach to what we offer.
Yeah, a much more kind of big picture, end result oriented sale. That must be interesting. You've used the term ambient collaboration to describe tools that quietly dissolve barriers. One fascinating goal you mentioned is technology that'll capture nonverbal signals like engagement, alignment. How close are we to being in a world where that's where I can actually feel the energy of a room that is not the room that I'm in? And like, how do we get there? What does that look like?
We already live there, but we are going to be more immersed. That's my summary. And I'll provide a few examples. So today and in the months to come, we are more and more working in a collaboration room. Your video is going to become your AI production director. So you're going to have like a production team, but it's going to be automatic. It's an AI engine. Then it's going to be, imagine several cameras in a room. It's going to be capturing the best image of you. So for instance, if I turn, there is going to be another camera capturing me and offering to you the best possible shot without any edition, without any human present. Another example, we are working on perimeter detection in a room. Why this is so important is because we are going to be able in the near future to identify when you get into the room, and we can drive actions. For instance, we can say, Jim, I see you are in the room, and in your calendar, you have this meeting. Do you want me to connect to this meeting? You might not disconnect from the meeting when you get out of the room. Then if you get out of the room, I can tell you, Jim, you seem to be outside the room. I'm going to close the meeting if you agree. So there is a lot of sensors that we have today and many more that we will have so that we can capture this ambient intelligence and then drive actions accordingly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of a kind of a static picture where we got the same camera angle and we're talking, I can visualize what you're saying. Interesting. I've also heard you caution against devices that are kind of built for novelty rather than usability. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do that's maybe not, real practical. So what out there right now are you thinking, man, that's not going to last. That's not going to make it. Anything?
I don't want to be unfair. I think that on the AI bubble, there is some that will stick and some that will not, and devices as well. But I also want to be fair to the industries. I think there is a courage sometimes to bring devices and experiences that are a bit, on the edge. But I'm also a believer of experimentation. You just need to be smart enough to say when you have to go back and do something else. But yes, there are things that one must. I think, to me, and this is very classic in technology, right? There was a time where we were inventing technology and then finding a market for it. And this has changed over the years. Now is you need to find the market and define the customer pain points first, and then go back and design your technology. And this is especially important for technology lovers like my company. It's a bit of being humble and say, let's first really truly understand what are the customer spoken and unspoken needs so that we can address them versus creating just cool toys.
Yes. Beginning with the end in mind. So if you could give a piece of advice to a CIO trying to navigate the future of work in this current age, what would it be?
my biggest advice to a CEO or a senior executive at my level is your best asset is your people. And if you want to set yourself apart in your company, you need to have, of course, a great business strategy, but you need to have a strategy for your culture and a strategy for your workforce. And with it, you need to realize that the work is changing radically, and the generations that are coming up and into the workforce are very different than my generation or the generation of a CEO I could be talking to. So we think we need to connect the dots. Connect the dots in terms of work expectation, new generations expectations, and what do we provide to them so they can be the best asset for our company and they can feel fulfilled at work and doing the best they can. And along these lines is how do we use technology for it? Technology can be an ally, but we need to be very intentional and put the technology that we need so that again, our workforce, our team can be as productive and also enjoy as much as they can.
Recruiting top talent is tough. Onan Staffing focuses on people, offering exceptional benefits to attract and retain dedicated workers. Partner with us for flexible, data-driven solutions. Visit onanstaffing.com to learn more.
You have had a expansive career spanning many roles in, I guess, 5 countries. That was my count. Looking back, is there a leadership moment or experience that fundamentally shaped the way that you lead today?
If I divide my life like in the key moments for leadership, first I need to go back to my parents. And as I grew up, I realized how important they were, maybe more than when I was young and I used to be with them. They are still alive. I enjoy them a lot. It's a blessing. And I think they taught me by example more than words, the things that really matter and have become the fabric of some of my leadership principles. The 2 things I recall and I still try to stay loyal to is 2 things. Number 1 is do the best you can. You have to do the best you can in every single moment with your family, with your work, with your extended family, with your friends. Do your best. We have a saying with I have now a son of, I have 3, but my oldest is 19. My son has continued the tradition and his way to say it is be on the grind. Dad, we are on the grind. And this is true when we are in the gym, when we are biking, when we are studying, when we are working. In this sense of do the best you can at every single time in your life, in every single chapter. Yeah. And the second one, which is easy to say but very difficult to execute, is be a good person. My parents were always telling me, be a good person, be a good person. And again, with it comes a lot of responsibility. But these to me are 2 key principles I have tried to stay loyal to, which is do my best with intensity at every single point of time and be a good person. There is second moment in my life, which is important, is my wife. I don't know if she's going to listen to this or not, but she was very important to polish me. I was a bit of unpolished as a person, and she helped me around the edges and become a more balanced person as we got together, more than 30 years ago. And 30? 30? Yeah.
And why? Very good. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. 25 plus of marriage and so on few before. Then I think HP, I was in HP twice. I need to explain a little bit my story with HP. I got into HP in 99. And as a young engineer, without too many references in the corporate world, getting into the culture of HP that I have mentioned before, integrity, empowerment, ingenuity, technology advancement, was a significant fabric for me as well as a future leader. But then 3 years after I entered into HP, I left for 5 years, and together with my wife, we did something very different that what typical people do. Yeah. So we went to Latin America for more than 4 years, and we worked for nonprofits there. So we lived in several countries: Honduras, Bolivia, and Panama. And that was to me a life-changing moment, because you get in contact with a totally different reality. We live in many poor countries and spaces, but we discovered another dimension of life, another, I would say, a tighter connection with humanity that it changed me forever. I think it has changed me forever.
I was going to ask about that because it was a bit of a left turn in your career. So tell us more about what you were doing there.
All sorts of things. We were helping institutions in microfunds or microcredits. So we were dealing with people that wanted a loan of $100 or $50 to buy 2, 3, 4 chicken or 1 cow if they were lucky, or they had a small shop and they wanted to buy $200 worth of food to resell in a small village. We would be without roads, without electricity most of the time. We would be navigating rivers, riding horses, walking a lot between village to commute between different villages. So it was a very special moment in time.
What tipped the scales to do that?
You're young, you have no kids. It's a different world. It's a different world that I live in. We had some sort of inner will to try something different and to abandon the corporate, or more than the beaten path. We wanted to do something different, and we found that this was a way to try to help out others and to get to know Latin America. Initially, it was 2 years. We ended up doing 4, and until my son was about to be born, and we had to come back.
So, what were a couple of key takeaways, or maybe something that you changed your mind on having gone through that experience?
Yeah, there are so many, but I would say that the most permanent one is to discover how similar human beings are. And this, I know it seems obvious, but when I used to live in Spain, you live in the US, you belong to political party, or you follow a political party, or you work in a company, you create an identity, right? You are Spanish or American, or South, East, you have your own identity, and this identity comes with some goodness because it gives you a sense of belonging. But sometimes it comes with isolation, and it comes with distance. And when you get into a totally different country and totally different people, and very different social structure, at the beginning is, wow, I don't belong here. But the more you get in contact with people, you realize that we as human beings, at the end, we are all striving for the same. We want to be happy. We want our kids to be healthy. We want to have some level of work and stability. We want to be recognized by our community. We want to be able to feel helpful to them as well. And you just discover a different manifestation of it, but it's the basic human need and human aspiration. And that to me helped a lot, because over the years, I believe, or I want to believe, that I became more open, flexible, adaptable. And everywhere and in the different countries I go, I try to discover the beauty of every country I am, and really enjoy what this country is being to me. And now being in the US for the last 7 years, there is so much about the energy, the positivity, entrepreneurship that I am trying my kids to absorb what we see in the US. And I can tell you, of every of my 5 countries, every country has 2, 3, 5 things that are just phenomenal that you need to learn and try to observe.
Yeah. I bet that shaped you quite a bit as a leader.
And the other thing you learn is that you have a mission in life, and everyone has to discover what it is. And you, in those environments, you are forced to do something for others. And at the end, our mission has something to do about doing something for someone else. And it can be as a leader in your company, with your team, with your family. But there is a calling. And when in these environments, you tend to discover it faster, because you are there is less noise. There is less noise about you around you. And you have to really roll up your sleeves and do something. But it's to me, it was a reminder. It is a reminder that we have a calling, and we just need to follow it.
You touched on it a little bit earlier, but talk more about how you view the role of culture as it connects to an organization's success?
I would say my answer to this question has changed significantly over the years. I am in my third decade of career, and I can tell you it has changed significantly. At the beginning, I was looking at as a junior employee. I was looking at the culture as something written in the wall. Right, there is a good set of norms. Again, I was very lucky with HP, very well structured culture, but was static and passive, meaning it's there. I have to follow. It's nice, but I have work to do. I'm doing my work.
Yeah, right.
This is the culture, right?
Yeah.
As a young engineer, I was trying to solve technical issues. Right, I was doing my work.
Sure.
Then second decade, you become a team leader. You have more responsibility, and then you start realizing that there is something here, right? By managing my team, by motivating them, by giving them support, we can do better. And you start realizing that it's not just technical things and business, but it's also your team and how important it is. But still is a bit isolated. I think now on my third decade, when I became senior leader managing big organizations, I realized that this is the bedrock of a business. It's not just something interesting or important. It's probably the most important thing you have. And it's a bit ironic because you would think, well, Carlos, you have very, very important business challenges to address. I can tell you, yes, it's the case. You have to define your strategy. Yes, it's true. I have to define my strategy. And without a good business strategy, you are not going to succeed. This is absolutely true. But you are not going to succeed either without a good culture. And I think there are very good examples of companies where with a good, strong culture, you set yourself apart and you create not only a great environment for people to thrive, but also sustain differentiation and good business outcomes.
That was, Jim Collins' whole thesis in Good to Great on the HP way. It was held up as the gold standard of culture. It was not built around a product originally. It was built around an environment, which is so how today you're leading a large swath of that organization. How practically everybody talks about culture, but what are ways that you practically create that ecosystem or help to create, or I don't know how you think about it, but how you ensure that you have that healthy ecosystem in your division there?
I probably understand culture in different buckets, so that's how I try to portray to my team. And I think the first bucket, which is like the foundation of it, it's about the human connection, trust and care. Trust and care. You need to trust your colleagues and you need to take care of them. Again, very basic human needs that also take place in a company. Why this is important? For two reasons. One, it gives you this fabric of trust, confidence, and sense of belonging. But number two, it also gives you excellent business outcomes. The speed of execution, the agility that it comes when you have a trustful environment. So we work a lot with our team to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable, to be honest, to be direct, to be trustful to each other. We do not avoid difficult conversations. They have to happen at business level, at people level, but we do it in a very trustful, careful, and respectful environment. The second block of culture that is very important is the customer. After being in more than 7 different businesses, what gives us as professionals a lot of energy is being close to customers. Mm-hmm. And there is a virtuous cycle that starts with understanding the customer, being close to them, then trying to define a solution, bringing to the customer, keep learning, keep improving, and this goes on and on and on. So this customer centricity is to me also very, very fundamental to our culture. How do we bring it to life? Is we just spend time with customers. We just create forums for us and for my team to connect with our customers. And the third element or the third block is about a culture of leadership. So there is something I told my team all the time. They are tired of me, which is each of you is a leader of my organization, which has little to do with being a manager. Being a manager is a function. You manage a team, you manage whatever program. Being a leader means that you wake up in the morning, you have a mission, you have empowerment, you have clarity and conviction, and your management is here to support you so that you can advance in your mission. And having an organization of 600 plus leaders, as you can imagine, can become very, very powerful. And to do so, we need to be very, very careful on, are we really empowering our team? We as managers, are we having the right support and distance? Distance whenever they can go alone, and support whenever they either need direction or they need us to remove a roadblock for them.
I think a lot of folks can make the mistake of thinking empowerment means leaving somebody alone. And sometimes it is that, right? But I've come to think of it as, empowerment being sort of, there's three elements to it. It's being clear about expectations, equipping and supporting the pursuit of those, and then accountability to those. That is, a lot of what you touched on there, the accountability piece, I heard you mention that. The customer centricity, I heard you mention that, and you got to have those things. I think a lot of times focus on culture can create a soft culture where it becomes almost a narcissistic culture if you don't have those elements. But it sounds like you have all of those pieces working beautifully. If you have 600 leaders in your organization, that's solid. It's
a constant pursuit. Two things I have learned about culture, and probably you will resonate, is number one, is one of the things that take more time to change. Therefore, persistence and conviction is very important. It doesn't change overnight. You need to focus every single day. And you need to admit that you are going to make mistakes. I have made so many, Jim, that I would be embarrassed to confess some of them. But you know what? The day has 24 hours. You go to bed, you say, yes, I mess it up. Tomorrow is a new day. I'm going to do it better. So it's a daily pursuit of cultural excellence. And then also the realization that as a leader and as a senior leader, you own the culture. Again, going back to our mission as leaders, one of the things, of course, we need to lead very healthy businesses and leave them in a good position for the next generation. But at the same level, we need to lead an organization that has the right culture and the strength in terms of culture for the new generation.
I was thinking about something. You think you'd be in a good vantage point to help us think about this. So we're in the early stages of this AI revolution, right? And in this era that we're in, how do healthy cultures need to adapt and evolve to maintain that health with this? I mean, we're in a time of great change right now, and in some ways there's this new intelligence emerging. So how do you think healthy cultures need to adapt and prepare for that?
That's a $1 billion question, and probably we don't know enough, right, about how AI is going to evolve in the next years. My intuition is that it's a big transformation. We have gone through many technological transformation. Probably this is the biggest we have seen in many years. At the same time, there are some commonalities with other technology transformations we have lived. And I believe, number one, you have to be curious, up to date, understand how the AI can help you be more productive. I think there is power in AI to help us as human beings and companies to be more productive and to just put our resources where they have more value. So we, the humans, right, are going to have more time and more quality time to do our things. To me, this is one of the promises of AI to deliver. At the same time, the risk is to lose a little bit our human connection and our human touch. So I think we will need to balance this AI for productivity, AI for outcomes, and not forget that at the end, we're going to need this human connection. We're going to need these ways to collaborate and connect with each other.
Modernization, integration, infrastructure, AI readiness. Onin Technology helps industrial IT leaders build momentum without the resume bloat or vendor babysitting. We deliver talent vetted by real subject matter experts, scoped project teams built for results, and consulting from tech leaders who've done the work. Contract to hire, direct hire, or statement of work, we do what fits. Ready to move? So are we. Visit onintechnology.com.
I've read where you've mentioned AI freeing up time for meaningful connections. So in your leadership, how has AI changed how you spend your time practically?
I use AI a lot in my personal and professional life. It's helping me so far with the more mundane type of activities, right? Going through research, going through external documents, summarizing. So it is becoming a productivity assistant for my daily work and for my team. What it doesn't solve yet, maybe it will soon, is help me in the most complex decisions you have in business. And I have tried, but it's not yet there. Now, it's a phenomenal tool to, again, help you with the external information, market research, competition analysis, everything. So everything that is public or publicly available, it's a great tool for us to go faster. And of course, it has many other aspects like coding that can be used.
This is interesting time to be a young person. You talked about your 19-year-old son. I have a couple that are in their 20s, early 20s. One's getting ready to graduate college, and one is early stages, and then another in high school. But so, what's your advice to young people who are in their 20s, in college, or early in their careers? There's a lot of jobs that have been traditionally looked at as like money, like you're gonna like solid jobs going to this, that it's question whether it'll be valued, in the future. It's kind of hard to know. So how are you coaching your son, and what would you say to our young 20-somethings listening, how they should be thinking about their career and their future?
It reminds me, when we talk to my son, and probably you talk to yours, it reminds me when I was at that age and we were using a PC for the first time, right? And our dad, mom have never used it, and you try to explain what you can do with a PC, and they know that it's coming. They know there is something called computer, but they don't really they don't grasp what is the potential. I feel that the next generation, or the young generation, knows now so much of what's the potential that technology can do for them. And you see how they go through studies and through work, how quickly they progress or can progress now. That is, to me, is first realize the power of what you have in your hands. It can do a lot for you. At the same time, as any technology advancement, it moves up the threshold of commodity. So things before the computer were very, very, very hard, it became very easy with a computer.
Right.
Things that were hard before AI, like coding, now become very easy. Therefore, there is going to be a reshaping, and there is starting to be a redefinition of the jobs. This new generation are going to be working alongside AI agents that are going to be helping them do their job. So their job has to evolve. Number one, they need to understand very well how to use these adjacent AI capabilities. Number two, they have to prepare for jobs that don't even exist today, but they can have an intuition how they're going to become. And therefore, they also need to be, my advice, be very flexible and learn many, many different things that help you, ground you as a professional. And number four, that's an advice I give to myself, is try to learn things that are not just your job. I think and this is a bit counterintuitive. Sometimes we believe that we just need to learn AI to become better at AI. And that's true, right? There are a lot of things to learn about AI. But to be a good professional, you also need to have a broad experience in life. And this comes with curiosity and ability to learn many, many, many different things that then it helps you connect the dots and be mentally more open to new things. What advice do you give to your kids?
I very much along those lines. I think also the most human things we do, those will be the things that can't be replaced. So, operating, functioning in the physical world, live performance. I have one of my sons is a trainer. He's an exercise science guy, and I'm like, man, that's a really good. If people have more time on their hands, and you have time to do things in the physical world now and hobbies, you're gonna need folks that keep you in the game. So I think those types of opportunities are interesting. But yeah, staying curious and open-minded right now is really critical, more critical than ever. I like the idea of being on the front edge, but also being knowledgeable in the things that have worked, and human nature, anchoring in things that have been around for millennia as well. Like if you can combine that sort of foundational, truly human proven thing, like a broad base of that combined with being able to operate on the leading edge, I think that's probably a good combination. But I don't know, maybe I'm waxing too philosophical right now, but that's kind of how I think about it.
There are things you have to develop as a leader. As you have said, I've been there for millennia. For instance, how do you take decisions? Which is the criteria that guide you on taking decisions? Now, decisions are going to be different, but there is something about training your brain and having enough, perspective, so then you can take good decisions in business.
Yes.
How do you teach this? How do you learn this in life?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Well, let's land it there. This has been very interesting. I appreciate your time. So you're doing a lot of really cool things in your organization there. How can folks connect on the business side and find out how to create this integrated environment that you're creating? And then also, how can folks find out about work opportunities with HP? We can put it in the show notes, but what's the best way to connect with you and your organization in those ways?
Connecting with me, I believe LinkedIn is probably the easiest way. I'm pretty active there, so you'll find me there. And then for job opportunities, hp.com is where we have all our opportunities, and I'll be happy to follow up with anyone that has interest in the company or in any part of my discussion today.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. All the best to you, sir. What a great career. It's going to be fun to keep an eye on you as the years tick by here, see what kind of left turns you take, like you did earlier in your career once the kids got out of the house. Maybe there's something in the mix for you.
You will. I'll keep you updated.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep it real.
Thank you for listening. This podcast is powered by Onin, the staffing partner delivering real results for manufacturing, logistics, and food processing companies nationwide. To learn more, visit www.oningroup.com. Until next time, keep it real.